So we came down out of the mountains, up that trail, Ozark Mountains, and way back up that way. I don't know exactly how far. Maybe I'll try to count it on the way back up or see how long it takes and do some kind of estimation. But anyway, this is outside West Plains. I believe they call it Hammond area, one of the trails around Hammond area. There's several trails. And so I'm not going to tell you my exact secret spot. You'll have to get out and find it. That gives you a reason to search and come up here. This is one of the trails. They got horse trails and a couple other ones, but that moment when you come out of the woods, the trail leads you into that. Of course, we might go down that way. I might walk down that way a little bit because I've already been to the right. And there's some really cool pools both ways. But I wanted to show you this one first. It's a different time of the year. Look at that. It's there in the Ozark Mountains. Pretty decent sized hill there, one of them. It goes way up, quite a way up that way. And I'll get up on top of that big rock. Then we're going to come back that way because I got my water. But I packed light today. Word of the wise, be careful on them slippery days, but you can see the water there. And it's not raining now, but it is a little bit of spring. I could see the water running up there a little bit. You can see it barely moving there. If I'm not mistaken, I think this creek is more of a when it rains fill up creek, but there was some water, so I think there's a small stream up there somewhere with a little bit of flow. But some of the pools that are down through here in different places have a little bit more of a depth. And so, yeah, I love it up here, man. I'm going to pause it and we're going to walk down that way a little bit. And then I'll get back on the trail because this was more of a woodland walk. This is the most beautiful part of it. And I walked all this way so you could see it. But then I'm going to go to the trail part way back up the trail so you can just have a little quiet woodland walk. I'll try to be quiet. Said no car, however. Anyway, I'm going to pause it a minute while I jump off this rock. I'm going to risk this. Whew. Because I didn't bring my orange marking tape with me. But you can see those 3 spots on that tree right there. Or my trail heading back up, and then I hit a main trail to go back up out of the mountains. And after you go around so many curves down through here, it starts looking the same. And so it's important to mark your trail. And that's a pretty resilient tree. Quite certain that'll be fine. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. But anyway, nice little pools there. They're quite deeper than you think they are. And not that I'm worried about it because it ain't cold right now. On these edges, you got to be careful too. Pretty slippery. Like I said, that's deeper. That's probably 1.5 foot deep, or almost 2 foot. If it's cold out, you want to be careful of that. But we're going to go down just for a little bit of an adventure. Isn't that crazy? I love adventures. Pretty orange leaf. This is July. That's crazy. We got leaves falling in our yard. Oh, that big old rock. was loose. We got leaves been falling in our yard, I want to say, since the end of May. I'm serious, the end of May, all of June, and even just all the kinds of leaves falling all the time. This year, anyway. That's solid stone that we're walking on. Just so you know that. Isn't that cool? Solid stone right here where I'm at. Whatever it is here in the Ozark Mountains, I don't know. Part of it's kind of a sandstone, but some of it's even harder. Wow. I'm going to show you that. The camera never does it justice, but that's uphill, as you could tell. And you can see the sun shining through the trees on the mountain up there. You can just see way up there at the top. So it's way taller than the camera gives it credit for, and some of these hills are amazing high here in the Ozark Mountains. Obviously not like the Smoky Mountains or something like that, or the Great Rockies, but big enough for me. And we're going to follow down the trail. I thought there was a great big waterfall down here that'd be cool for you to see. Oh, look at all the crawdads. There's one. That's an Ozark Mountain crawdad. There's more in there. Right in front of the rock. Let me unzoom that a little, sorry. Where am I at? It's hard to see it on the camera. Oh, there they are. Sorry about that. Two more. There's several of them shooting around in there. So if we get hungry, I'll pause it when I head back out of here until we get back to the trail. But as I had made another video, but wow, check this out. And it's dripping over there on that side. Yeah, right there. Anyway, I think we'll go down to the next curve just a little further. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh, about preparation. I do always have in my right pocket. I always carry. I'm going to show that again because I like to show it in the videos. Lighter, a new lighter with duct tape. Brand new Gorilla tape is what I got on there. You can use it as a fire tender or for anything to patching holes on a target when you shoot through it and you try to cover your holes so you can shoot some new ones. I've done that with it. Hung up tracks in the bathroom or on billboards or wherever I hang them at. I've used it to fix airboats that I was in when my key jammed a hole in it. Done that. Little frog back there behind me. Many, many uses for it, whatever you could think. Patch a hole in your clothes, patch a hole in pants and your shirt and a rain jacket. I've actually got a pair of pants, or had for the longest time, that ripped frog togs, and I Gorilla taped up through the crotch area there on them and down the leg on it, and they lasted forever with the double side duct tape in and out. And so the sky's the limit. And I put a nice big wrap. That one's actually small. I've used some of it. I usually have a bigger, thicker chunk on there so you can use it for whatever. Listen to that. That's too cool too, ain't it? Anyway, adventures with Carly. Anyway, those are good things. Of course, then I have the pocket knife. That's a pretty good sharp knife. Cabela's. I've had it for a long time. It was a really good blade. And a handkerchief. Nice big bottle of water. A container for getting more water. I've drank this water here several times. The spring water. And of course, some type of protection. Either bear spray or a bang 'em up pow pow, if you know what I'm trying to say. But, we're going to go down that and go just a little further. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's so hot that if it wouldn't wash all my bug spray off, I'd stick my head underneath it and let that run all over my head. There's all kinds of natural springs out there in the mountains. The wife and I found a couple. We'll go down here just... I'm not going to get too crazy, and then I think I'll try to pause it, because my main goal for today was the woodland walk. And I think I'm going to do that from here, and I'll pause it till I get back up to the trail. I just wanted to show you all this beautiful, it's so beautiful here in the Ozark Mountains. If you ever get a chance to visit basically anywhere anywhere in the Ozark Mountains. I've been to so many locations over by Branson, all over different places. But this one's outside of West Plains. But anyways, it's so beautiful, and I was really wanting to concentrate on the woodland walk. And as I was saying, I had an old branch that I had with some leaves on it about yay big. And I had it in my hand and was doing this the whole time down the trail. I had tried another video. I ran into so many cobwebs and so many spiders. A red one with a white triangle on its back. I'm going to have to look that up and see what that is. But many of those jumping at me, throwing their hands up like crabs, like they were going to attack me. But I was fighting those and the mosquitoes. And believe it or not, there's not even any mosquitoes down here in this hollow right now. It's pretty crazy. You would think here by the water that they would be worse, but it was up in the tree cover up on top of the mountains on the ridge top. But down here, they ain't bothering me at all right now. I do have bug spray on, but man, that what I'm trying to say is all the way down the trail I was doing this back in front of the camera for about the whole entire thing. And I think I was trying to make excuse. I'm hitting the mosquitoes, I'm hitting the flies, horse flies zooming me. And this, I go, oh man, I'm going on and on. I did more talk about that than I could be quiet to see the trail. So I'm going to try to be quiet walking back up the hill to the best of my ability, because I do like to talk in my videos, especially when it comes to thinking about God, so you can actually enjoy just some of the beautiful woods, the hardwoods up there on top. And just, there's some pine trees, but more hardwoods there at the front that we're going to go through in this particular spot. On this particular mountain. There's many mountains there, but anyway, I'm going to pause it for a minute when I get back up the hill, after I let you see this just for a minute for a beautiful pause note. And then I'll meet you back up at the head of the trail, and we'll walk back up the hill. I wanted to share this view through the sky for a minute. Listen. You can barely hear the wind blowing through there. I love that sound. Up the mountain we go. I had to show you this. I like finding weird things, and I look for rocks sometimes. I touched that. Listen, that's a chunk of iron. Isn't that crazy? Down here in the middle of nowhere, a piece of iron. I mean, that's thick. Look at that on the bottom edge, like chunked up teeth. Chunk of thick iron, man. Laying down here in the bottom of nowhere. That's crazy. I don't know if you guys like ferns. I got a fern in my front yard at the house. It's like a camouflage fern. Maybe I'll do a 15-second short about that soon. There's fern. I love those ferns. Well, we made it right back up to the top. That's there, and of course there's our marking on our trail. And we didn't go very far down there, but mind you, you go down there a half mile or better and come back around several twists and turns. Until you do it a couple times, it kind of looks the same, but get back up the hill here. This should be a little bit better since we got all the cobwebs out of the way already. It's a little uphill. We'll stop and look at some different. I really wanted to focus on this video on just the beautifulness of the hardwoods. It's like I don't mean this in a weird magical way, but I always called it the magical hardwoods as I was growing up. And by that I mean just the sounds and the beautiful things you hear. Not in some kind of weird magical way. I don't roll like that, but the wind through the trees and the quiet voice of the Lord you can hear. The frogs and the birds. So, here's the first one. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty with the water on the leaves. A little unnamed bush. Another fern. I believe that's the type of an oak. I'm not a grand tree expert. There we have a pine. Almost dead, but it's got a little life at the top. I'm not for sure about that one either. Maybe a maple with the leaves on it, possibly. I like that, the shapes of the leaves. I remember as a young boy in northern Indiana getting the colorful leaves and pressing them. Of course, I don't know whatever happened to them. Oh, I saw this guy on the way through. Oh, mushroom. Give you the upside down view. And then this would be the main trail. Back to the right. It goes back down to the creek down that way, and then the creek just winds around that top of that, the canyon rather, in there. Ravine, whatever you want to call it, all the way back up. We'll pause it and get a drink. We'll go see if we can see something. There's an old cedar. The top of it's left anyway. Nature turning it back into dirt. That's another type of oak, if I'm not mistaken. The leaves. Oh, that's pretty. You're welcome to screenshot it if you like. It's not, it looks like a lot more to get down here. As you see, that was a slight incline, not much. Then kind of like this straightaway. I don't know, what is it, 70 yards? And then a little uphill again, and then straight the rest of the way to the car. So there's only 2 little downhill spots. It's not too treacherous. And I really kind of wanted to, I might peek up through the edge of here. The trail's right here in front of us, but there's just some cool outcropping of rocks up there at the top, where it's like, yeah, on the top of a mountain, watch me pop out my rocks, and you can see how cool and majestic I am. I always have loved the mountains. Got blessed that the Lord moved us here. Outcroppings of rocks up there on the top. The very point, it's like the backbone or whatever. Whew, sorry, mosquitoes after me. Be quiet a minute. I always called that switchgrass. Oh. Two butterflies. There's one still over there. Got orange on them. Pretty. Orange and white. Ain't that pretty? He moved. Oh, there he is. Wow. He's after those purple flowers. Hope you enjoy. That other one took off. I got another video. I've got several of them I need to upload. I just don't have signal to get them up there. There's some other, I did another video the other day called The Life of a Butterfly, just a short one. Bunch of butterflies out. Here's a dragonfly. Man, I was hoping that would hold still. He was in the tree right there. Let me see if I can get him zoomed up. He's on that stick. I think he might have flew off. He did. Sorry. He was clear and had black on his wings. There's another spider up there. Them things are prevalent up here. And you can't, I don't never want to zoom up on them because they're so small with all the background. Unless I get my finger up there. Sometimes it does on that for a minute. Anyway. Actually, let me do that again. I'm doing a redo. If I can get to it again without getting it stuck in my face. There it is. If I can get it just right in the camera lens. I don't know. There you go. You can see that shine. The web. It doesn't do it justice. You can see it glinting in this, glinting in the light. So as you see, it's not too horrible. But once we get up here, then there's another jut up the hill. And then we come back up the ridge. Pretty good drop off on that side down there. I'd like to follow that to the left one of these days. Oh, crud. Sorry, I got a mosquito. Sorry, there was one. You see him right there with the white triangle on his back? That's crazy. He went across there and rebuilt that quick. I just came through there. I don't want them crawling on me. I don't know the name of him, but I might have to look that one up when I get back to the get signal. It's red, or crab red, with that white triangle on their back. It looks like a white triangle anyway. There's one. They're quick too. I think I even see them. I don't know if you can see them. It's a daddy long legs, but the whole center of him was orange. I don't know what the difference is, but that dude was quick, man. Whew, had to knock some of them skeeters out. It is. You can't tell on the camera. It does a fairly decent incline. From there, that's right there where my finger's at. It's the top of it again. To where we came, I'd say I guess it drops about 100 foot downwards, but at an angle. At least 100. So close to it anyways. Maybe 80, 85. So it's not a horrible hill though. I stop several times on it, but catch my breath a minute and keep going. I'm not gonna lie to you. The adventurer in me wants to pack my pack and take off out into there. Away from technology. I guess I might record part of it if I decided to. Oh. What is that? Pretty rock laying right in the trail. Like I said, that's a straight shot. So I didn't bring my LBE with my canteens and all that stuff on it. Oh cow, look right there. Thank the Lord. Look, it's a wolf. Thank the Lord I got the pal with me. He went. Both of them went that way. How awesome was that? That was a young one. So I'm probably not, if I was a little bit more ignorant, I'd have probably ran after it. But I definitely don't want to get in between a youngster and the parent. But when I get to the top, I'll peek over the edge. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, they went down into the ravine. Big old spider. I turned around, there's a big old spider in my face. And I actually misspoke. Of course, there ain't no telling up here in the mountains. I'll have to look at it better on the video what it was. Mountain coyote. Whatever. The big one was behind it. I don't know if I got it on video or not. There's something in front of me again. There's more. Yeah, it ran straight back up the hill. So I don't know if I got separated from the other ones. I saw it. I don't know if you saw it. It ran straight back up that way. It went straight back up in the, but it was little, it's a young. That was cool. Maybe you'll get to see it again. You definitely don't want to be around the humans. Covered in the blood of Jesus. Amen. I believe in the Lord. I ain't scared. For God hath not given me the spirit of fear, but a power and love and of a sound mind. But I do have common sense. Protection. When you're out in these hills, it ran straight up back through there. And I know it was I guess a coyote, a baby coyote. Of course, I don't know. I guess there could be wolves here too, in the Ozark Mountains. I don't know why there couldn't be. I'll find out when I get to looking at it better when I get back to the house. That was so awesome, man. I've seen all kinds of turkeys and stuff out here too. And white-tailed deer. For sake of the length of the video, I'm going to pause it for just a couple seconds to sit here for a small window. That's why I like walking when it's moist like that and wet. It just rained a little bit earlier, and the other day it rained a little bit too. Just enough to kind of dampen it down. And that's really good for getting out in the wildlife and being quiet when you're going through the woods. Of course, if you're in bear country, it's a reason to say, hey bear, every a few steps or so you don't go sneaking up on something you don't want to sneak up on. Right on. But anyways, I was real quiet coming up the trail talking to you guys, and pow, they were on the ridge, not on the trail, but to the left, coming down the hill toward where I was, but not on the trail. So that was pretty cool. And for those that know, they weren't following me. They weren't on the trail. They were completely off the trail, 20 yards to the left. I actually followed another trail up that way a while ago. They went up to the top of the hill on the rocks. It was rock crags. Deer trail that went off the main trail up there and then came back. I love following those little things. I'm not too worried about those because I know that was an adult with its young one and it took off. But since I'm doing a kind of an educational or understanding for you, if you saw something else, whether that be a bear or a cougar or something, it'd be and actually probably even of this. I'll stop and look again in a minute, but I'm listening the whole time I'm talking to you too. Anyway, check your back trail every once in a while. That's what I'm trying to say. I learned that the hard way. I don't have to tell you that, but I'm going to. I was hunting at Pyramid State Park in Illinois, a place out by, I believe it was Elkville, somewhere out around there, one of them places I was hunting at. There was a long trail, went out in the middle of nowhere, a road. I parked. I didn't think anybody'd be coming. Well, I was meandering along like I am right now. I'm going to pause a second. Look at that sun through the trees. Just walking right along the trail, talking to the Lord, not paying attention to nothing. All of a sudden I heard something, and somebody's on a mountain bike come from behind me, come shooting by me. Scared me half to death. I screamed out like a woman. I'm not going to lie to you, it scared me half to death. I thought I was being attacked by a wild bear. And so ever since then, I kind of tend to check my back trail every once in a while, look behind me over my shoulder. That mountain bike snuck right up on me pretty quick. I don't know. We ain't got a whole awful long further till we get up there, maybe another 10 minutes. I'll pause it for a minute. Now we're on flat land. That was the only two hills that you heard me talk about back there. Now we're just on flat. And it gets a little bit tight in a couple places through here where you hit the oh, that's cool. There was an old butterfly on our back trail up in the tree up there. Let me see if I can get up on him. So hard to see. There he is. I heard that butterfly coming through the air. Anyway, beautiful evening. And I hope you enjoy the little informational things. I wish I could get out more. But do some extra things, like maybe we'll try sometime in the fall. It'd be neat to do if the wife and I could get out and go on to camping. To do a little informational video on this or that. We did some, it's been a long time though. Making fire. Boy, wasn't that a trip. Finally got it going, but anyway. Maybe try to do a couple of videos about that. Using the old duct tape for tinder or something simplistic. I've watched a lot of, over the years, different survival videos on YouTube and different things. It makes good information. You never know when you might need it. And all the disasters that are going around the earth. I'm sure those people would agree. Some of those survival information's imperative. Sometimes you think you can rely on the, look at that sun through there, powers that be, but try relying on the power that be. His name's Jesus. Hey man, he'll lead you through all of it, but it doesn't hurt to be prepared. He even said so in Proverbs 6 and Proverbs 30. He said, go to the ant. It prepares her meat in the winter. Has no ruler or overseer, but it just does it because it makes sense. Preparation, especially when it comes to eternity. Good idea to be prepared for it, don't you think? I'll tell you one thing, you can't maybe tell how thin this trail is, or maybe you can, but I'm thankful that I already came through here. That's why I did a video on the way through there. I think I told you that once, but I was swatting them leaves back and forth. You'd have just thought I was a cow in a field or something with the tail going back and forth over and over again. But anyway, beautiful. I love it out here. Wow, something got that one. Leaves are all shrinkled up on it. Shrinkled is code word for wrinkled. We ain't too far. There's all the mini cedars. Or not cedars, pines. Oh, you see that leaf? If you know, you know. All the little pines. Oh, look. That one's getting a burl on it right there. Bunch of pines. In the winter time, in the fall, if I get back out here by then. But there's many of them that I've seen, even the bigger one, like right there. Several of them was marked in a whole rub line out through here. Go down out that way about, I've already been over there. Go that way about 95 yards, give or take. It goes down, and the ravine's right there, and it runs into that same creek that we were at down there, but you got to walk it all down the whole edge. And I haven't went all that way, around and through there yet, but I'm almost positive that's the same one that wraps around to the left down there. Anyway, a rub line that ran straight over that way. I walked in it before all this vegetation was up. Broken down trees all over the trail and stuff now. So I know a lot of them are not maintained. And there's a little bit of vegetation here, but I got my hiking boots on. Good bug spray around there. Definitely have to check for ticks when I get home though. Squirrel, I think. Jumped up there. think this is my favorite trail. The other one's pretty cool too, but it's a lot more rocky. On the other side by what they call the horse trail, I think. Or I'm calling it the horse trail. I guess they're all kind of horse trails, but there's another old cedar. You know, I always like doing that. I'm going to do it. Grab a hold of one of the bows. Pull them off. Oh man. I wonder if you can smell that like I can. That beautiful cedar smell. I take that and I pulled a bunch of those off and put them in a bottle, a spray bottle with water and let it soak. And I spray it on my clothes sometimes. I used to at hunting season for a cedar cover scent. Hope you guys enjoy the woodland walk. Is that what I thought it was? I thought that was mint. There's a mint growing up around here everywhere. Wild mint. It's a sweet gummy mint. Make tea out of it. You can eat it a little bit at a time. If I find some in one of my videos, I'll show you. Whoa. We're going around. That was a little turn on the trail. They made a hump because there's a broken tree in the middle of it. Whew. But I've been through here several times now. Need to bring my K-bar with me and knock a few of these weeds back from the edge. Of course, you can hear the traffic on that country road. So we're not too far from the parking lot. I wanted to mention this before I get back. Whew. Another thing I did for cover scent, and you can actually eat them. Gather up acorns. I grabbed up a bunch of them and boil them in a pot. The husks come off the top of them. And you can get them out of the shell. And obviously the nut on the inside of the tender part. And I mooshed it all up. Made like a paste out of it. And I boiled it. Made it almost like a liquid. And kind of separated it and kept the liquid in a bottle. And boy howdy, that was good. I kept it for a while in the refrigerator. I'm not an expert scientist or anything, but I figure, well, after a while it's going to get moldy or something, and maybe it won't be good. But I used it for a while and it made a really good cover scent. Of course, I mean, it smelled like super strong acorns because they were boiled, you know. But anyway, I know the Indians used to do that too, and even people nowadays, you can boil them. See if I can remember to put it in the comments or something, or in the description, but you can, we're back to the front now. You can actually make, I believe it's acorn flour out of it. If you grind it up, of course you boil them to get the tannins out of it. I'm quite certain that part's down. And then, yeah, you can have, make you some biscuits or whatever, or some corn flour. Sounds pretty good, don't it? Oh, look at that. There's a good end to the video. Look at that. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the spirit of the deep. And God, Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters and said, "Let there be light." And there was light. I'm thankful for the light. And I hope this helped you a little bit. Maybe if you don't know anything about the Lord, it shed a little bit of light on Jesus and how much important He is to me. And that, I got to get that spider off there off my phone, but I just did. He's very important to me. He's my rock. He's my everything. Acts 2:38, Acts 2:4, salvation plan is the way to heaven. Amen? And then that's just actually the first step. Daily relationship thereafter. The Lord wants an intimate relationship with you. Look, he loves us and he wants to know us like we've never been known. Amen? If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to put it in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed the video. We're back to the parking lot. And I'll turn around and show you the board. Or the back trail, rather. Of course, there you can hear the traffic now. Oh, there was something else. I thought right here in the front I was going to show you this. I think these might be chanterelle, but I ain't positive. I saw them when I headed up the trail, and I think that might be what they are. They're actually broke loose. One of them is upside down, you can see, and the other one is, they're loose. And I believe those are chanterelles, and I think you can eat those. But there's only a couple of them right there. And actually, is that another one? Yeah, that's another one right there. If that's what those are. But had to do a video on that. We're back to civilization at the front of the trail now, so hope you enjoyed.